1 year ago, Drexel and Towson's CAA seasons ended with overtime heartbreak. Today, they return for redemption. A group of Dragons upperclassmen hoping to cement a legacy. The Tigers striving to restore their place at the top. This is the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus on Lax Sports Network. Hello, everybody. Alongside three-time gold medalist Kelly Berger, I am Tom Eschen. First and foremost, happy Mother's Day to one and all, including my mother and grandmother, and soon-to-be mother, Kelly. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Thank you so much. It's an exciting time, and Championship Sunday is always exciting. CAA Championship, I'm excited. How about you, Tom?
I am so excited. Our semifinals were so great on Friday night, and an NCAA tournament bid is on the line here. Don't forget about that. Towson had a 6-goal run to finish off their semifinal. Drexel had a 4-goal run to finish off theirs. What finishes for these two teams heading into this championship?
Yeah, it was a battle back and forth, and maybe the end scores didn't show that, but you could never kind of sign off one team. They were always ready to work, whichever one it was. It was a semifinal, exciting Friday night, and so hopefully that carries into Championship Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Towson's Blair Puri, she had 5 goals and an assist against Delaware, but most of that production came after Delaware's best defender, Madison Hronika, had to exit with her second yellow card. Can the Dragons do the same, keep Puri quiet enough to win?
Yeah, last time these two teams played, Puri did go quiet. She was held scoreless, but I would not count her out. Coming off from those Friday night games, she's prepared. She's a veteran. She knows what she has to do to get her team to the top.
And she fills the box score in a lot of ways. We've spoken about the Dragons' experience all season long. That really came to fruition in the semifinal. They saw Hofstra come back from a 5-goal deficit to tie the game, only for the Dragons to finish the game using that experience, a 4-goal run of their own.
See, for me, Drexel is one of those teams that you can never count out. Every time I think they're down or they're going to get beat, they come back in, they stay composed, and they come out on top. So I expect that today as well.
And in goal for the Drexel Dragons, she leads the league in save percentage. Zoe Bennett, the graduate student from Pasadena, Maryland, 10.28 goals against average, 49.6% saves over the course of the year. Last year's goalie of the year in the CAA. You got Carly Merlot on the other end, the junior from Reisterstown, Maryland, a psychology major. She is at 10.48, a 46.7% save percentage. She made 11 saves in this matchup last time. And then we go to the draw. It should be a matchup in the draw control circle. The top two teams in the league at the draw, set and ready to go as the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus is about to begin. About 50 degrees. Some sprinkles in the air here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania today. The ball sent high in the air, and away we go. A whistle to start, and taking over will be those Drexel Dragons. Carson Harris to pick it up. He draws another foul. As you know, Carson Harris, the last year player of the year in this conference, comes back again this year. 60 goals, 8 assists. She had 3 goals and an assist in the semifinal win over Hofstra.
We see early on, Tom, that they're shutting down Carson Harris. They're face guarding her here, sticking to her like glue. So we'll see if that affects her early on or affects this Drexel offense.
They sure are, as Jarema gets it taken away there on the top. Shannon Sullivan causing the turnover. The freshman from Watauga, New York.
And I think that's what's going to be the difference here is each team's going to have a game plan. They're going to come out with a game plan. Which one is going to let it affect them more if the other team kind of messes with their game plan? And that's going to be probably the team that comes out on top, maybe less emotional about it.
Towson, one of the better clearing teams in the country, though not there, unable to get it into their territory after the turnover. So Drexel taking over here once again, 11-7 on the season. They finished in technically third in the CAA, the 2 seed here in this tournament, as the 4-time defending champion James Madison Dukes unable to compete here. They will be moving on to a new conference next year, so ineligible for this tournament, which means Towson is the 1 seed. As Harris, this is where she makes her money, Kelly. We saw that in the semifinal. We've seen that pretty much all year long, the 8-meter arc. And immediately she's off running, goes low and scores. Harris starts the day with a spark for the Drexel Dragons. It's 1-0.
That has to feel good, not only for Carson, but probably for Drexel, because we know they struggled last game with the 8 meters. Carson Harris didn't necessarily struggle with the 8 meters late in the second half, but early on, the game could have been very different if Drexel put away some of those 8 meters. So putting away an early one, not only for Carson, but for Drexel on that 8 meter hash, that's huge for them.
Just to get to the 8 meter, that's almost a mini win for her. She went 3 for 4 there. That's where she made all her goals in the semifinal. She went 4 for 4 the first time these two teams played a month ago. So think about what happened last month. That was an overtime victory for Towson, 16-15 on senior day for the Tigers. It was a pretty incredible finish and performance on both sides, and we're hoping to see that again here today. As the last time these two teams played, last 2 times they've played, both have gone to overtime, including last year's CAA semifinals. There's Olivia Malamphy getting the draw. Gets it over to Aaron Williams, and now our first look at the Tigers offense. As we mentioned, Paris coming into the day with 45 goals, 4 assists, but right there with her is Carrie Thornton. She's got 48 points this year, 40 goals, 8 assists.
You know, it looks like a little bit that the Drexel Dragons and the Towson Tigers have a little bit of a similar game plan over, you'll see on the left-hand side of your screen, it looks like they're face guarding Blair and trying to shut her down. So we'll see if who turns out better on the face guarding option.
Lindsay Clark fouled there inside the critical scoring area by Carson Harris. So now we had a free position on one end. We get another on the other end. Clark 2 for 6 from the arc this year. 11 goals, 18 assists on the season. She leads the team in helpers. You saw a Towson player go over the line. Zizakovic a little too aggressive, and that is taken right away. Illegal procedure. Dragons get possession.
Again, one of those moments where you have to wonder, is that going to fluster Towson, or is that going to just allow them to say next play? And that's something Sonia talked about a lot actually on our call, Tom. She said next play, best play, and that's what their motto was all year. So let's see if they tap into that now, or do they let that fluster them a little bit and carry into a couple more plays.
This the 11th championship game for the Towson Tigers program. This the second. Drexel's been here now 2 times in a row. Last year was the first time they'd ever been here, and they come back looking for a championship this year. Last year they lost to JMU in overtime down there in Centera Park. Haley Simpson, we're working it out to that right side, Jarema. Jarema guarded by Sullivan. Now back out to Simpson. She had a goal yesterday, on Friday. She gets a good dodge from the top, and she scores! Down to that near pipe. Haley Simpson on the board. 2-0 Dragons.
I think Haley is one of those underrated dodgers. You see how fierce her first step is on this dodge to really get her defender going one direction, and then she explodes that opposite direction. And it doesn't allow the defender next to her help defense to come and slide, because she goes straight down to goal. So she dodges hard, she goes straight down to goal, and then she protects that stick to finish. It's really underrated in my personal opinion, but that is a textbook dodge right there to put that goal away.
She had 3 games all season in which she did not score a point. One of those was in the first meeting against Towson, so she already rectifies that wrong. She gets herself on the board, and Drexel a 2-0 lead. The Dragons led today by Katie O'Donnell and Alyssa Guido. Kim Hillier out with personal reasons. Meanwhile, like you mentioned there, Kelly, Sonia LaMonica for the Towson Tigers, a 4-time CAA champion, last time in 2016. Mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Tigers trying to get themselves back on the top of this conference. Bednarik with that draw. She had 5 in the semifinals. Something else to note here, and we didn't have this dynamic last year with JMU and Drexel. Both teams were most likely in no matter what. This is a win and you're in type situation. If they don't win, they're not in. That's shot wide by Simpson.
As if Championship Sunday isn't enough pressure, that just adds to it. But I mean, my senior year, it was the same thing for us. We had to win to get in.
There's that combination. Grady to Schneidereth. 3 on the board for the Dragons. It's 3-0.
This feed here is just such a heads-up play. Feet are still moving. And being able to quick stick this, turn your body like Schneidereth does, beating the goalie to where she wasn't or where she should be is definitely something that you have to work on. But if you can master that, it's a weapon to force to mess with. But the reality is, Tom, what I'm noticing is the scrappy plays is what Drexel is winning, and that's what's allowing them to get ahead. They're keeping possession of that ball because they're winning those 50-50 balls. And Towson just simply looks like they're one step slower right now in these first 5 minutes.
Which is a change from the first time these two teams played. Towson outground balled Drexel in that first game last month, 22-14. So you're seeing a little bit of a different point of emphasis here for the Dragons. They lead 3-0. That's Schneidereth's 39th goal of the season, Grady's 20th assist. Dikovic goes down hard. Now they try and pick it up. Bednarik. Maddie White also involved there. They're going to say that went off of Towson Tigers player last. But now, right now, the ball, the stick of Bednarik, and now the Dragons looking to clear. Towson struggling to maintain possession right now. Drexel with a 3-0 lead, looking to add more. 10 minutes to play here in this first. The push. Another whistle as Simpson tried to get it into the offensive zone, and I think we'll get a bit more of a settled play now. Less than 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter at Vitus Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Drexel the host. That predetermined before the seedings were set on both sides of the equation. Of course, you saw Delaware win the men's championship yesterday. And you just saw there off the ball, a push happened inside the 8-meter arc, so Schneidereth now gets an opportunity at a free position. 2 for 14 this year on that arc. And she'll go to goal. She shoots and scores. Second for Schneidereth, fourth for Drexel. What a start for the Dragons.
Towson's got to be really in control of their feelings right now, and that's what's causing these goals to happen. If I was Towson right now, I'd be calling a timeout to get them under control. This is an off-ball foul that simply puts her on the 8-meter when it isn't necessary, right? So because Towson's frustrated, you can see it coming out in different ways, and it's causing goals.
Lucy Schneidereth, her 40th goal of the season. Timeout. Sonia LaMonica and the Tigers, they are talking things over. We'll step aside. You're watching the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus on Lax Sports Network.
The CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus is brought to you by UNCW's Cameron School of Business. Visit uncw.edu/CSB today.
Back live at Vitus Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A captain, graduate student from Lutherville, Maryland, Lucy Schneidereth, 2 goals on the day. A 2-time first-team All-CAA player. One of the quadruplets of the Schneidereths that have gone through the lacrosse world over the past few years. She's still playing. Her sister, Jamie, right now a volunteer assistant with the Dragons, so keeping it in the family, if you will. Big draw here after the timeout for Towson. Bednarik picks that up, somewhat easily there. She gets another one. She scoops up pretty much everything in her path. Towson, I should say, yet to record a shot today.
And obviously it's frustrating at this point in the game, right? But you have to be reminded that it's only 6 minutes in. So there's a lot of lacrosse to play, so you can't get too flustered, although that's much easier said than done.
Turnover behind the cage, and actually some good sportsmanship showed there by Bednarik I think Erin Williams went down. She's the one who caused the turnover, and now Blair Paris got the ball in her stick for the first time today. She's got an eye on the goal. Gets it knocked away. Belle McHugh got her stick in there, but they're going to call a push. Blair should get an opportunity here for the first shot of the day for the Tigers. So 8:40 to go. There goes Blair. She goes high, up and over the crossbar.
And it's interesting to me that they are face guarding Carrie Thornton more so than Blair. And I guess their thought is, well, we have to take one of them out. So which one is it going to be? Because they're equally of a huge threat. It's hard to pick in this Towson team.
Belle McHugh, their best matchup defender. There's a switch. She was on Blair Paris, so maybe they trust her a little bit more. But after the switch, Paris gets herself open, and she scores. Away we go, 4-1.
Yeah, and this is such a chess match, right? Because when you take one player out of that 7-on-7, you suddenly have 6-on-6, and it allows so much more room. And this is such an example of that, having more room for that dodge, for that two-man game, and giving Blair even more room for her dodge and release for an awesome shot. It's which one's better, and it's hard to decide which one's better. So it'll be a battle.
Gabby Garrett, the one that was working with Paris, in that tandem there, and a nice job there. The Tigers needed a goal, and they got one. That's Blair's 46th goal of the season. First team All-CAA the last 2 years. She was on the All-Rookie team. She was the Rookie of the Year last year in this conference. And she's set to be good for a long, long time. Listed as a junior, but they've got some eligibility, these athletes these days from Pikesville, Maryland.
Can go for years and years and more years.
Or Cecil looking to go get the draw. She does, dumps it off to Maddie White, and White is pushed out along the sideline, though they're going to say there wasn't enough of a push there. Or the referee being tracked down by KDO and Alyssa Guido. O'Donnell, two-time All-American midfielder at Penn State. Guido went to Stony Brook.
And this is an interesting response to a game plan, too, of actually pulling the offensive player out to the top and just not involving her. I don't know, as a player who once was face guarded and as a coach who had to deal with this, I'm not sure if that's what I would choose to do, because you always want to get that, player still involved in the game. But it's definitely a different look, 6-on-6. It could benefit Towson right now.
That was Carrie Liucci working the dodge, drawing the whistle. Liucci had that game-winning goal on senior day against the Drexel Dragons. What a moment that was for her. She's got 13 goals this season. Senior from Stony Brook. Towson looking for 2 in a row. She winds, fires, scores, pumps her fists. It's 4-2.
And that's the best part about lacrosse, is we went from 4-0 to now 4-2, and it's a whole new different game. And that was simply just a little bit of emphasis on a good ride for Towson, maybe a good possession, turns their whole mentality around, and now they're up closer to what they were in a 2-goal game.
I mean, Sonia LaMonica would never say, but that's all coaching, right, Kelly? After the timeout.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, giving them just a little bit of, it's okay, calm down. There's a lot of game going on, and there's still a lot of game left. That's kind of the mentality that I'm sure she took.
LaMonica, the coach of the year, though, she credited her staff and everybody that works with her. Of course, Michael LaMonica in his 11th season alongside his wife, Shanna Brady, in addition to Michael, and all working together for the 5th time winning the Coach of the Year award here, LaMonica and company.
And that was cool. We did ask her about what is it like to coach with your husband, because that is very unique, and they do it oh so well. They make it look effortless, and it's a cool coaching staff. I told her, I think I would like to play for you guys if I had the chance.
The coolest thing is she says the players get a little kick out of it. They learn a lot, I'm sure, about maybe relationships and things like that, maybe more so than a different program might. As some sprinkles now filter through the air here in Philly. We had obviously a very rainy Friday. It's very windy as well here today. Probably windier than it was on Friday night. Also a factor here. Here's Lindsey Clark. Back out to the top. Some of those face guards going on, going through some different sources. It's Liucci again. She shoots near post. She squeezes that in. How did she do it? Second in a row for Liucci, third in a row for Towson, 4-3.
Took the words out of my mouth because I thought maybe she held on to that shot a little too long. She maybe should have just carried it behind. And good defense. I mean, I don't think Drexel could have done much different there, but sometimes it works out that way, and she's feeling hot with the hot hand, so give her the ball.
I mean, Zoe Bennett read it about as well as you could. That one just a little too hot to handle there along the posts, and Liucci got now 4 goals, 14 and 15 on the season. Of course, her and her sister, Nicole, such a big part of this program the last few years, and such good people. We talked about this on Friday, and that's what Sonia Monica says. It's great to coach such good kids in the Liuccis. During the pandemic, they worked at a daycare facility in Melville, watching children of essential workers. So, I mean, they're as, valued as they come, and it's so important to have for a program a couple kids like that. Brady goes low in the response, backed up. And we have a referee that I think was bumped and fouled here, and I guess not fouled, but been involved in some sort of collision. Alex Wall had run over to go check on her. Hopefully everything's okay. So does Sonia Monica. She goes out there as well. So while they figure all of this out, hopefully everybody's okay. We'll step aside for about a minute here. We'll be right back. Okay, back live here. Everybody seems to be okay. Claire Jarema says, I'm sorry. I think there was a collision here off the play that we couldn't see, but everybody's back up and smiling, which is a good thing. 5:20 to go here in the first. 4-3 now is our score. Drexel jumped out 4-0. Towson with 3 straight after that. That ball taken away. Blair Goodrich gets the cause turnover.
Very uncharacteristic of Colleen Grady there to just, I'm not sure if maybe there was a stick hit, but either way, very uncharacteristic for her to turn the ball over back there.
Blair, and as they turned it over on the other bench, just Blair, a sophomore from Chester, Maryland. Great athlete on the defensive end for the Tigers. Her brother, you might remember him, Zach, a 3-time All-American defensive midfielder at Towson.
Keeping it in the family, I like it.
Now coaching at Navy Prep, does Zach. Playing professionally as well. So Drexel gets it back. Towson, a couple issues clearing today. That's been interesting. After turnovers, they've been unable to capitalize on those. But usually that has been something they've been better at. Obviously a big game, some things happen.
Not something we always talk about when we talk about Towson.
Grady gets it in front. There's our first save. It's Merlot who makes that save.
Merlot needed that save. She I think was feeling maybe a little flustered with some of the early shots, and then some of those clearing passes maybe not going her way. So that's a good boost for her, and hopefully she carries that through.
She's been great in big games. Last year in the CAA semifinals, 13 saves against this Drexel team. And then in the NCAA tournament, Towson got an at-large bid. They played Stony Brook. She had 12 saves in that game. So she's all about that big moment, and this obviously is as big as it gets. Carson Harris picks off a pass. 17 now caused turnovers for Harris on the year. The do-it-all midfielder. They love how her defense can generate offense as Wall settles it into the offensive end.
More importantly, I love seeing Carson Harris on that defensive end making plays, because you don't see as many two-way middies anymore with the style of midfield runs that you can have. You know, you can send them off through the 50 and have maybe more of a defensive midfielder, but it is really good to see a two-way midi, because, you know, that takes work. and that's a special athlete.
Bednarik so quick behind the cage, looking for some freedom. She goes wide. Grady picks it up behind. Drake working on Sullivan. Here's Simpson. Down to Grady. Guarded by Goodrich. In there to Schneider. Schneider at those quick hands. The shot and the score when the goggles fall off. 2. 5-3. She's got a hat trick.
I'm really impressed with how well she handles the ball inside. This also takes a special athlete, because not everyone, if you're a good 1v1 dodger, sometimes you still can't handle that pass inside and that finish. She has tremendous pressure on her, and she's cutting down her angle as she catches that ball, and she's still able to turn and find the net. It's definitely difficult to do, and she makes it look easy.
I would love to see a highlight reel of just her goals, because they would all look pretty similar, but they're all very impressive in their own right, you know, because they all kind of look like that. But she's so good at that, at what that is. It's been really cool to watch her career the last few seasons. Right now, 6 of the 8 draws have gone the way of the Drexel Dragons. 5-3 is the score accordingly. Hannah Delahaye in there for the Tigers to take this one against Maura Cecil. Cecil, a transfer from Arizona State, a graduate transfer at that. Had a game this year in which she had 14 draw controls at San Diego State. That was a CAA single game record and a program record for Drexel. Delahaye able to get a little bit more of that one, and Izakovic picks it up. She gets knocked down. Whistle stops the play for her to put her goggles back on. No yellow cards just yet. As the freshman gets back up, she gets a big draw control. And Towson takes over on offense. A little more than 2 minutes to play in the first quarter of this championship game. 5-3 is our score. Good dodge from Paris. Defense comes in to help. Peyton Bement in there. Paris again. Paris. High.
Oh, a really good take, a quick catch and go. If Paris can continue that quick first step, she's going to see a lot of opportunities.
She's been aggressive today, hasn't she?
Yeah, and she has to be. It's like live or die here.
Loses it, picks it back up, and they're going to call a hold or a push behind her, so she'll get it back on the 8-meter. Another opportunity. Paris got 1 goal already today on that. 9 goals and an assist in her last 2 games going into the day. Already has 1 today. Here comes Paris. She shoots, gobbled up by Bennett, getting her first save of the day. So she answers Merlot. Here comes the clear, and working it over into the offensive zone is Cecil herself. Not just a draw control specialist, she does it on the defensive and clearing game too.
And I think one thing we can observe is Drexel looks a little bit more not only confident, but just at ease on their offensive side, where I feel as if Towson feels a little frantic and a little bit more rigid. It's only a 2-goal game, but I think because of how lopsided the possession time is, and maybe the mistakes that Towson's are making that are uncharacteristic, it's making them feel a bit more like that.
Dodge from the top from Jarema. That one is stopped by Merlot as well. She's got a couple of saves in a row. Less than a minute to play. See if Towson can work this clear and get one last shot at it. Taken through the middle by Liucci. That's Nicole Liucci. Whistle blew. She's got to take it back to where that happened. And now Paige Abbott into the offensive end. 20 on the clock. 5-3 is the score. Garrett takes a shot. Bennett all over it. I think they'll be content to just hold here for the final few moments of this first quarter.
I know that is not the shot that Towson's looking for, and that's maybe what's frustrating everyone, and that's a frustration shot. So we'll see if they can change that in the second quarter.
Kind of alluding to exactly what you just mentioned there, Kelly. They'll try and figure things out in between quarters. We are 15 minutes in the books. Drexel, a 5-3 lead over the top seed Towson Tigers here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You're watching the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus on Lax Sports Network. Back live all the way around Vitus Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We come alongside Kelly Berger. I am Tom Eschen. This is the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus on Lax Sports Network. A happy Mother's Day to one and all. We appreciate you joining us here. An NCAA tournament bid on the line, 5-3 Drexel after the first 15 minutes. Schneiderith has a hat trick for the Dragons so far, 2 for Carrie Liucci for the Tigers. Delahaye in there and using that height a bit more to get the ball going her way. She wins it herself. Delahaye doing a good job as she backtracks but gets Towson at least the possession here. Came into the day with just 7 draw controls and didn't play at all in the semifinal, Delahaye. Already making a nice contribution today.
Yeah, and I think Towson's focus for this quarter specifically needs to be value the ball. I mean, it feels as if they're a little nonchalant all over the field. I don't know if we can pinpoint one specific area. And there's been moments of greatness. And like we talked about, Tom, over the break, they're only down by 2. But they have to value the ball a bit more if this is going to get away from them.
3 for 5 on clears today. They have 4 turnovers as well. So does Drexel, but that clearing number for a team that usually is pretty efficient in that is the most striking one of all. In the first matchup, they cleared successfully 19 and 19. They get it out to Puri, that 2-woman game again, Garrett and Puri. Puri looking to dodge. And she gets it knocked away. She goes towards goal. Bennett able to be there to scoop it up. I think Cecil had that sort of that back check over the head.
Yeah,
a trail check even, right?
Yeah, and I was surprised that wasn't whistled because typically that's a little bit out of control. She didn't come back up with her stick. She went straight down, but Puri did a really good job of tucking that and reading that and knowing that she was going to do that. I would involve all 7 in the offense for Towson. You know, to take Carrie out of it and just kind of bring her up to the top feels a little bit like you're falling into Drexel's trap and not necessarily playing your own game.
Yeah, the Drexel has been face guarding Carrie Thornton since the start. Thornton had 4 goals the last time these 2 teams played. And you can see there, Allison Drake looking for a foul. She got one, a hit near the spear of the head, and that earns a yellow card. So Shannon Sullivan will now head over for 2 minutes.
I will say there's far and few players that have that back check down and that can do it. For the younger players watching, all too often, those checks don't work. And a good player usually pulls them and usually just get called for a card. So just be careful on those back checks. I would just continue to play body.
That foul happening outside the 8-meter mark. That's why you saw it happen there on the fan. And now Drexel just has an opportunity here with a woman up, try and get a goal here to start their second. Simpson. Jerema, as she drives, she earns the shooting space. So Claire Jerema getting an opportunity. 5 goals on the season. Let's see if she goes 2-goal here. 66 still on the possession clock. Redshirt senior from Ivyland, Pennsylvania. She does. She shoots way over the top, backed up though by Bednarik and Grady as well alongside. Here's Bednarik working through the middle and read all the way by Merlot.
Such a good dodge, such a good take, such a good save. Just good lacrosse right there. You gotta applaud both sides because that was an awesome save, but what a speedy take. And most of the time that falls. We've seen that fall in the past. So That's what I was expecting, but a great save that Towson needed. But again, another broken clear. It's like Towson focus a little bit more, just take an extra second and see if we can change that.
You know, and that also alludes to what you were saying earlier, Kelly, with Drexel and hustling so much here today. They've come out very aggressively just on ground balls, all these little parts of the game, and that comes also in the clearing game with their ride.
Yeah, and honestly, if I was Sonia, I would think this looks like the Towson from the first half of the season. You know, we talked a lot with her about the second half, them kind of figuring it out and then just going with it. And that doesn't feel like they're figuring it out. But their goalie's showing up right now.
Yeah, Merlo makes the first save. She can't make the second as Harris gets her second, 6-3. A woman-up goal for the Dragons.
And this goes with the typical Drexel never giving up mentality. You know, there's a save here, but heads up play by Harris. She scoops it up and goes right back at the defense that's a little bit scattered already because they're woman down, and then earns themselves a goal, another one when they, you know, already feel like Towson's a little bit down.
And Harris, known as one of the more bubbly players in the sport, but as gritty as it comes when she's out there. She's got a great personality, and she's been a lot of fun to cover and watch. You can hear in her coaches and how they talk about her too. That they love her. You know, she's got such a good head on her shoulders.
She does it all over the field as well. So you got to love a player like that can do anything between the 30s on the defensive end and then on the offensive end.
I think we talked about this on an early broadcast this year, but she was so excited. We interviewed her around Christmas time. She got like the new cool jeans, and she was pumped about being a part of that fad with the new cool jeans. So that tells you that those things don't matter as much to her, but when they happen, she gets very excited about it. She appreciates those little things.
I love it.
So 11 minutes to go here in the second. Drexel does get that draw. Their 7th of the day. It was Harris that got it, by the way. For the 4 that Towson's achieved. Simpson, little roll there for Harris. She decides to wait. Grady now. Here's Grady dodging. Grady, hands free, off the pipe. A fight for the loose ball, and a foul will happen there. Liucci got her stick in there to draw it. Nicole Liucci, that is.
Yeah, we can't forget that there's two of those amazing people on the field, and they both do amazing things.
Twins.
I can't imagine. Happy Mother's Day to their mom. Yeah. I just can't imagine. Good for them.
That is one of the cool things, and of course, everyone would love to be with their mother on Mother's Day, and working or playing lacrosse is one part of that too, but always being a part of this tournament and celebrating these women, I think, is a cool facet of our Mother's Day coverage on a yearly basis, and kind of neat what it's all about. There's probably a lot of proud mothers out there watching these athletes.
My mom spent a lot of Easters and Mother's Days on the lacrosse field for my lacrosse game.
What a gift for her.
Yes, exactly.
Izakovic stumbling as she goes in. That shot deflected off the front, and now it's Harris in the clear. And Drexel goes to work once again. We have some freedom for Drake. She relaxes once again. This has been a very composed Drexel team today.
And I think that's the word. I mean, Drexel feels very composed, even just in that take that Drake just had. She could have shot that, but she chose there's a better opportunity, where I think Towson's getting trapped in only finding that one opportunity and zoning in on that when maybe it's not the best opportunity.
For Simpson, a lot of space to dodge. Simpson works her way around, spikes the stick, her second. 7-3 Dragons.
I will go back to that dodging that Simpson does. You can see her body is leaning into everything that she does, almost to the point where she's almost falling over, but she takes that lean with her and then she shoots back at it. So as she's coming through that 1v1 dodge, she leans to the left here and you're going to see her shoot back. And that's where the goalie kind of leans with her and gives her space to see that open net. It's really impressive. And quite frankly, I think it's underrated.
So she gets her second goal of the day, 21 on the season now for Haley Simpson. She had just 3 goals all of last year. Talk about stepping up, and another one of those upperclassmen, senior from Ellicott City, Maryland, in the nursing school. Heard the coaching staff before say, glad she's on our team.
Meaning you're glad you don't have to write a scouting report on her because that would be tough.
That means you don't want to play against her, right?
Exactly.
So 8:42 to go in the half. 7-3. Dragons keeping the Tigers off the board here to start almost midway through the second quarter. Here's the ensuing draw picked up by Bednarik. That is her 5th draw of the day already. She had 5 in the semifinal against Hofstra. Season high is 11, if you're wondering. That was against Albany. That was a 2013 Drexel win.
And that's the tough part about when you're on that other side and you're Towson right now. It can turn into a make it, take it if you're not winning draws. So all of a sudden you look down and you say, hold on, we haven't had the ball for a while. Yes, it's a 50-50 draw, but if you're not winning those draws and Drexel keeps scoring, you're not getting the ball. And so it's a make it, take it situation. And that can be very, very detrimental, especially early on when you're not clicking as well.
In the first matchup of the season, Drexel won the draw 21-14. They led 8-4 in the first half. So if you're thinking of changing the channel or doing whatever you're going to do today, I would just stick around for a little while too. Midway through the second, Grady dumps it off to Simpson. 15 on the possession clock now. Drake defended by Malamphy. 9 on the clock. Out to Simpson. She can't gather it. Now a fight for the ball. And the clock's going to expire anyway. There's a defensive stop for the Towson Tigers.
And the other thing, and I'm trying to find the words to kind of express it, but, you know, a big defensive stop, 90 seconds. Not a ton of emotion coming from Towson when they have that stop. So I would like to see that change. Maybe it's something to discuss in the second half, but being emotionally involved as well is something that I think will allow Towson to maybe get back in this game.
They have 3 goals today, 2 by Carrie Liucci, 1 by Blair Paris. Ball on the stick now of Gabby Garrett. Garrett takes a little quick shot. Backed up by Haley Corus. She's got the 3rd most goals in the team, by the way, this year. 25 of them. Try to get it over to Thornton. She hasn't touched the ball today with that face guard, and there you go. That's why. Peyton Bement picks up the ground ball. Great defense. Sloppy through the middle. And you hear a timeout, and a good one at that. Haley Simpson able to pick up the ground ball in the midst of the chaos. Timeout call to the side of the Dragons. They lead 7-3, 5:51 to go here in the first half. All right, so we're back up and running after the timeout by the Dragons. During that timeout, defender for the Towson Tiger, Erin Williams, had to be helped off the field after all that chaos in the middle. She went down pretty hard. She's their best matchup defender, senior from Parkton, Maryland. Tough to see the look on her face as she was being helped off there. Hopefully she'll be okay, but that obviously another issue for the Tigers and not having her in there right now as the Dragons going to work once again, up 7-3.
Yeah, we hope she's okay. She looked like she was in some pain as she went off the field. So just Good thoughts to her, because that's tough.
Here's Drake, gets herself free. Drake goes in there. She gets fouled as she does. See where the ball ended up, but she now is right there behind the 8 meter. She'll get an opportunity at a free position. Two for 3 today are the Dragons on the 8 meter arc. 5:05 to go in the half. Here comes Drake. Drake shoots and she scores. 8-3, her 27th goal of the season.
She's so quick off this line that she's allowing herself to get a little bit more space with her stick. But more importantly, I'm impressed with how Drexel's changed the way they're taking on these 8 meters and really valuing them, because it's making a difference, because they are getting put on the 8 meter.
Drake had 2 goals in the semifinal on Friday. She had a hat trick the first time these two teams played, showing off some of that quickness. Now 6 for 11 on the free position over the course of this season too. And they've been much more efficient there today, Keller, than they were on Friday. That's helped them get up to this lead. 3 for 4 now today. Back to the circle we go. Diesel and Delahaye are in there. .5:03 to play in the second quarter. Drexel a 3-0 advantage in this second on its own. And finally, Towson gets a whistle their way. So Delahaye will pick it up, and they'll get themselves an opportunity if they can get it settled in their side, which they've had trouble with so far today.
And like you said, just because it's 8-3, don't change the channel yet, because we've seen both of these teams come back, and we've almost been shocked. We even saw that on Friday night with the Hofstra team coming back from a deficit that we thought definitely late in that game they were counted out. Again, I will remind you that it's CAAs and anything can happen, and any team kind of just light bulb sometimes just goes off a little bit later.
Here's Puri. Here comes the help. Peyton Bement, eyes up. 3 seconds though called on Drexel, and now Puri will get an opportunity. Yeah, on Friday, as Kelly was saying, it was Drexel on top 10-5 over Hofstra with 8:28 to go in the third. Hofstra came all the way back to tie it, 10-10. Puri on the comeback trail. Stopped all the way by Bennett. Great look at that one, and a great save for Bennett, her 5th on the day. Comes McHugh, now over to Grady. 4 minutes to play in the first half.
It's interesting to me, too, for both of these teams being really athletic and really fast. You don't see many push of fast breaks. A lot of times they come down, they settle, they try to use that possession clock, where I would see if Drexel can maybe push a little bit of fast breaks when they have that opportunity with the lead, see if they can catch Towson on their heels, whereas Towson might need to value their possession a bit more, but still a thought.
Working with a couple of their second units right now. Molly Weigand in there, as is Bridget Finley. So for the moment, Carson Harris not in the contest, getting a bit of a break as Drake goes in. Brady still in there to back it up. 24 on the clock now. You can see the rain has subsided. Sun starting to peek out through the clouds. Here's Bednarik. Good dodge in front. Merlot the save. Her 5th of the day.
Great dodge, great change of direction. That second slide has to be there for Towson, but Merlot's having some really good saves that are keeping Towson in this game for a couple of these big saves.
Drexel scored 4 goals in a row now. Towson last scoring with 5:46 to go in the first quarter. They get it finally to Thornton, and had a tough pass to do so. She's got it in her stick. A whole defense has their eyes on her, it appears. She looks for Garrett to get open. Garrett in, then back out again. McHugh is on her. Harris right now over there on Carrie Thornton. And not leaving her. Going to work to isolate on this right side. That ball is jarred loose due to a penalty, and Lindsay Clark will get an opportunity on the 8-meter.
And that's what I want to see Towson do. Like, just play your offense. Allow Carrie to be in there. Play the offense. Don't let the face guard affect you so much, because when you take that to heart too much, it affects everything. So just play your offense with her, face guarded or not.
So here's Clark on that right hash. She gets a good start here. She goes in and scores. Felt like nobody was ready for the whistle, but she was. The Oregon transfer scores her 12th of the year. It's 8-4 now.
All it takes is one little quick step off of a hash mark, and that's exactly what she did. She was able to react quicker than her defender next to her, give a nice, good fake, and go straight to goal. And it's an exhale for Towson of, okay, 8-4. That feels a little bit better than 8-3. Maybe going into this second half that way.
She had a goal on Friday night in the semifinal against Delaware. Gets another one here today. Had 6 goals, 6 assists for Oregon last year. Now a sophomore from Parkton, Maryland, Lindsay Clark, helped stop that Drexel run with 1:51 to go in the half. Delahaye reaching up for it, slashed down by Cecil into the arms of Bednarik. I think Cecil saw Delahaye do that last time and wasn't having it this time around.
What goes around comes around.
It's tough because you see Maddie Jenner for Duke, and obviously she's got so much height. I don't think another player can reach up high enough to do that, to help her do that. To defend
I was never
against.
one that could do that. Exactly, exactly. It's a gift.
And Grady poked in the face as she goes to grab. No card called there, just a whistle as Goodrich will have to go behind. Clock continues to run, 1 minute to go. I thought maybe for a second that clock needed to stop. It was a defensive infringement, and now we'll put some time back on the clock. One man in the stands thinks it should have been a yellow card. It sounds like they're going to add another 3 seconds on the clock here. Surprised they didn't add any time back on the game clock. Stealing 4 seconds of the cross from us, Kelly.
Yeah, and that 4 seconds can make a difference.
It does.
We know
You're right.
that.
That is. You are right. I was a little tongue in cheek, but yes, the athlete in you comes out.
4 seconds. What can you do in 4 seconds? There's a lot on the offensive end specifically. We'll talk about that later in the game and see if that 4 seconds would have mattered.
About a 12, 13 second differential here for the Dragons. Less than 40 on the game clock, 25 on the possession clock. Drake goes in, bounces around near the crease, and they get it back in. Good play there by the freshman Sullivan, just to scoop it in. So possession clock now will go off. 20 on the clock.
Gotta go, Towson. Gotta go. Gotta take a chance here.
Blair Goodrich works it into the offensive end. 5 on the clock. Here comes Goodrich. Gonna have to do something, trying to get something off. Paris is unable to do so, as the first half is in the books here at Vitus Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 8-4 is the advantage for the Drexel Dragons. They're a half hour away from their first CAA title, and the Towson Tigers will have to figure out how to defend against just that. Lucy Schneiderith, a hat trick in the first half for the Dragons. They've got the lead. You're watching the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus on Lax Sports Network. 30 minutes away from crowning a champion here at Vitus Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Who will be getting that ticket to the dance? Well, you're about to find out. 8-4, Drexel with a first half lead over the Towson Tigers here in the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus. Alongside Kelly Berger, Tom Eschen here with you on the call. Thoughts heading into the second half, Kelly?
I want to see if Towson makes any changes. Maybe that's changes on defense. Maybe that's a game change or game plan change on the offensive side. But I think Drexel needs to stick to doing what they're doing. And maybe it's because they're at home. Maybe it's because, they're feeling from what they missed out on previous years. But, you got to change something if you're Towson. And I'm anxious to see if that happens.
Drexel in this championship game for the second year in a row, just the second time they've been in this game in their program's history. Towson's 11th championship game, searching for their 8th title here as we are off and running in this third quarter. Draws went the way of Drexel in that first half, 9-5. Now they can say they're doubling them up, 10-5. They get the first possession of the third. El McHugh got that one. Lucy Schneidereth had 3 goals in the first half, 2 for Haley Simpson and Carson Harris. Easy day here in Philly, low 50s as Simpson dodges. Merlot gets a good chunk of it. And Malamphy picks it up with a whistle to boot. We alluded to it during halftime. Erin Williams injured with 5:52 to go there in the second quarter. She will not return. Their best matchup defender, something that they'll have to adjust with as well here as we begin the second half of play. That's, of course, very sad for a senior from Parkton, Maryland. She's done a lot over her years here for Towson, but now hopes they can win one for her when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and sometimes you see teams rally around that and it pumps them up, right? And it brings them some meaning behind, not that there's no meaning now, but a little bit more meaning of maybe let's play for her, do this for her because she can't. So we'll see if Towson can kind of rally behind that rather than maybe let that affect them too much in a negative light.
And like we said, this is it for these teams. Win or go home, as it doesn't appear to be an at-large bid up for grabs here this season outside of the James Madison Dukes in this conference. So it's the Dukes and it's the winner of the CAA. Don't forget, last year 4 teams went. So even if you had lost this game, which Drexel did last year, they were still heading to the tournament, not this time around.
Sometimes that changes the way a team plays too, although it shouldn't, and as probably a coach, you never want that to be the case, but sometimes it mentally sets a team up a little bit differently.
That was a pretty hard check by McHugh against Paris. Now she holds her side.
Yeah, in my opinion, that hurts more than getting hit on the head sometimes in that rib area. And you gotta, in my opinion, you need to rein that in as an official because that is pretty painful right in the rib.
She has that bulldog mentality, though. You can see it. She came right out ready to go. And as do the Tigers in this third quarter. They strike first. It's the freshman from Lutherville, Hallie Chorus.
Whatever it takes, Towson has to do it. And this definitely looks like a slightly different offense than what they ran in the first 2 quarters. But a hard cut here, a catch, and a change in direction. We actually saw Drexel do this on the other side with Lucy Schneidereth. So they're taking a page out of Drexel's book, but, stick to the basics, keep it simple, and find the open net. One play at a time. Next play, best play. Sonia continues to say that to her team.
So Hallie Chorus, part of these talented underclassmen. We talked so much about Drexel and their experience. Towson has certainly a bright future here in this conference. Chorus, Shannon Sullivan, and Milana Zizakovic earned a collective 5 CAA Rookie of the Week awards this year. That was more than any other team in the league. So there's a lot to be said for the youth of Towson, and now a big goal for Chorus in a big spot to make it 8-5. Violation on the draw goes the way of the Drexel Dragons here. Carson Harris goes down. Getting a little bit more physical here, and we know it's on the line. Harris has 4 white shirts to go through, and there she goes, right through them all. Now she dodges a little split there. Defense comes collapsing in. Sullivan made a nice play to it, but I think she went out of bounds before she could save it.
I would like some of these players to, after every whistle or after every foul, to just continue to play. Keep playing. You don't have to throw up your hands and wonder, well, this, that, and the other. Let the officials do their job. They're doing a good job. Just continue to play.
Yeah, be ready to fight in a game like this, in a conference like this, too. You know this is going to be a gritty end.
Yeah, you got to expect it. And it's, again, CAAs. Every coach we've spoken to say it's a grind. Any team's going to show up that day.
So Drexel will have the ball. They've got a full, the talk was about the possession clock and whether or not to reset it. They're going to reset it. I think they said there was a brief change in possession there. So full 90 for the Dragons to work, leading 8-5. Simpson. Over to Drake. She's got a goal in the first half. Beat up by Sullivan.
You'll see a little bit difference here on the Drexel offense, which I'm noticing early on, is there's a little bit more standing off ball, where in that first half, it felt like all 7 were moving. Face guarded or not, they were all moving. And right now there's a little bit of stagnant standing. So that could be the change. That could be the difference, but we'll see.
Drake gets it lodged away from Sullivan, who is in there too. Drake picks it up on her own, though. Possession clock down to 25. Sullivan's got to turn around. Drake almost went right there on her. Finley gets it taken away. Goodrich, nice play. Another one for Blair, and they'll call that against the Dragons. Blair Goodrich, the sophomore from Chester.
And that's a good opportunity for a back check. So when you have that double team coming, one player's going for the check, one player's holding for body, and that was textbook.
West Lacrosse All-American in 2019, Blair Goodrich. Played soccer and basketball in high school, so has an athletic background there as well, and makes a nice play for Towson. And like you said, they had a full 90 possession there. Towson with a bit of a renewed sense of urgency coming out of this third. Zakovic has been quiet.
It looks as if they're getting Carrie Thornton more involved.
As Zizakovic gets involved herself, she scores her first of the day. It's once again a 2-goal game.
And if you see on this replay, you see that Carrie cuts through and allows that space to be open, because we know her defender is not going to slide. So allowing that 1v1 to happen, giving Melania a huge area to dodge and find her left hand there to finish that shot. And that was, in my opinion, that's what Towson needs to do. Stop taking players out of the offense, add them in, and let the offense just run. And players like the multiple players that Towson have, they'll come up with the results.
Zizakovic, a Lax rat as they're called, from Alberta, Canada. You're talking to Sonia LaMonica about her and said she just loves being out there, playing lacrosse every single day. She came in, didn't look like a freshman, one of the top people in their run test as well. So she's out there. She said, not a lot of international players get sort of that daily grind. She loves the grind, as they say. So she's been out there, and she's been really good for this team as a youngster, all CAA rookie team player this year, now her 20th goal.
I remember when Sonia said that, and I thought to myself, man, good for her. Because I was one of those players that just thought, oh man, we got to go to practice again, which I know it's important, but I was such more of a gamer than wanting to, go to practice and grind it out. And as is anyone is, but it's definitely something that we are very spoiled with here in the States.
He's soaking it all up. Milana Zizakovic, a great first season here, and helping Towson now to get the lead to 2, though Drexel's got the ball on their offensive end. Less than 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. Drexel still hasn't scored in the third quarter. Simpson initiates from the top. Guarded by Liucci. Now behind to Drake. Drake works on Sullivan. Sullivan turns her back the other way. Here comes Goodrich to help. Catch by Benerick. She might have some freedom here. She goes low, stopped low. Merlot. That's 8 today for Carly.
And just a little bit more intensity by Towson. Drexel's matching that intensity. Their shots just aren't falling right now. So this is the kind of speed and the, I guess, intensity that I've been looking for both teams from the start. And we only had that Drexel team showing up with that in the first half. So I have a feeling, Tom, this is going to be a little wild ride in the third and fourth quarter.
Starting to feel that way as Thornton comes running in. Alex Wall on Thornton right now.
And that's also a challenge, too, for Thornton. Just keeping your head when there's someone literally Velcroed to you. It's definitely difficult to just continue to play your game and not get frustrated.
Well, you talked about getting her involved, and we saw Gabby Garrett in that two-woman game, Kelly. That was Thornton involved there, and a whistle is immediately drawn.
Exactly. It can confuse everybody if you continue to move, in my opinion. Now, other people have other opinions on what to do on a face guard, but in my opinion and my experience, I always say stay involved the best that they can. There's other things you can do without the ball in your stick.
So they move off Schneider from the 8-meter. That gives a little bit more room to Blair Paris. She has 1 goal today. She had 5 on Friday. And here she goes. Goes inside, stopped by Bennett. Zoe Bennett's 6th save of the day.
Put it low, Blair. Put it low. I just want to be in her ear and tell her that. She's coming in high on that. And you got to give Bennett, she's such a good defender, so you got to give her a fake and put it around her. And I know she wants that ball back, but if she can just stick that ball low, it's a different goal.
Huge save for last year's CAA Goalie of the Year, and that's why she's top 10 in the nation in save percentage this year. Getting all of these seniors, graduate students back for the Dragons. You can see how important they are. Bennett, one of those that came back for another season, and obviously in the biggest spot, she's going to make some big plays down the stretch here. Put a foot in the ground by Drake. That draws a whistle. Defense going to collapse, shooting space. Now Drake will get it on that left hash. He has 1 goal today, the junior from Easton, Pennsylvania. Decides to run out. 42 on the possession clock. Grady with Goodrich on her. Goodrich has done a pretty decent job on Colleen Grady. Grady with the 2 assists today. There's that speed from Drake. 20 on the clock. Here comes Grady. She wins that battle. Grady gets herself inside and she scores. First goal of the day for Colleen Grady, makes it 9-6 with 6:13 to go. Her 36th of the season for the all-time leader in career points in Drexel Dragons history. She's had plenty of them on this field. Now she hopes to hoist a championship trophy on this field. We'll take a break. 9-6 Drexel. Back here at the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus alongside Kelly Berger. Tom Eschen here with you. It's 9-6, the 2-seed Drexel, also the hosts here at Vitus Field. They have the lead over the top seed Towson here about midway through the 3rd quarter. We just saw a goal there for the Dragons moments ago. Colleen Grady now with 3 points today, a goal and 2 assists.
A quick goal there, too. I mean, when you have Drake on one side, Colleen Grady on the other, just keep dodging that back and forth. They have such power 1v1 dodges that if they can get by their defender and put it around that goalkeeper, having composure to put it around, that's a deadly force.
You can see the Drexel trying to take advantage more and more of those one-on-one matchups with the loss of Aaron Williams in the second half for the Tigers. Drexel working that for their first goal of this third quarter. Towson got the first two, Drexel the last one. It's now 9-6, and Bednarik picks up her 7th draw control today. Ball catches that, and some more collisions going on here as Lindsay Dean takes some contact from Malamphy. Dean might have an opening, and trying to take it at first. Wind is howling here, and it's taken away as the wind howls away. Carrie Liucci, looking like her sister, passing to her sister, Nicole, and Nicole now going in the offensive end. Nicole usually this year has been playing the defensive side. She'll dump it off, and they'll work the subbing game.
a really big cause turnover play there, and you know, we don't always get to applaud that, but that's a huge play. You know, one more goal for Drexel, it's 10-6 versus maybe a goal right now for Towson makes it 9-7, which is a completely different look on that scoreboard. So that's a fantastic cause turnover, and see if Towson can do something with us.
All in the Liucci's right there. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
Thornton with the ball in her stick. Hasn't been able to do anything today, held scoreless. She had 3 goals and an assist against Delaware back there in the semifinal. She had 6 goals the week before against Delaware, so she had been playing as well as anybody in this league coming in. And that is why she's gotten so much attention here today. This happened off the play, so Clark gets it. Another stop for Bennett. They wait for it to come down, fight for the ball. Paris gonna try and beat it to the sideline. She does. And we get a card coming out. Yes, we do. Haley Simpson.
And that's a bit of a frustration card, I would call it. I mean, you know, going hard, Simpson goes hard, but definitely, you know, she's not going to goal right now. So there's no need to foul that or be that tough on her. And it's just a frustration card based off of not getting that ground ball.
So Towson goes a woman up for 2 minutes. Haley Simpson in the box. First yellow card issued on the Dragons. Towson has one to themselves as well. That was in the first half. They get it in front, and they cash in and score. Chorus gets her second. 9-7 now the score, 4:18 in the third.
A little textbook women up situation here. It's let the ball do the work. You see that they shift. They try and find the 2v1 on the backside, and they find the open girl inside, holding space really well. You know, I would always challenge that inside player to have the correct hand up to make it easy to be able to protect that stick, but Towson figures out a way to put it in the back of the net, making 9-7, which is a completely different feel from maybe a 10-6 game.
This has been a good third quarter for Towson. You mentioned to Kelly at halftime, going to see what kind of energy they would come out with. It feels like things have shifted a bit. 2-goal game, 4:18 to go in the third. This is anybody's game here moving forward.
You know, it's a 12 o'clock start. These kids are in college. Maybe it was too early for Towson. And maybe they just needed a little reminder at halftime from Sonia that, you know, this is your chance. This is your only chance. This is your last 30 minutes. You got to go out and give it all.
Yeah, I mean, hotel wake-ups at noon or whatever time it would have been for a noon start is a little different than waking up your own bed for a noon start, which the Drexel Dragons got to do.
Absolutely.
First time hosting.
Can you imagine sleeping?
Well, the Towson Tigers forcing a Drexel Dragons timeout as Hallie Chorus a moment ago getting her hat trick here, the freshman in the CAA title game, and the assist, Kelly, from Carrie Thornton. How big is that? Thornton has been much more involved here in the second half despite that face guard.
Yeah, and like we said, there's a lot more that you can do without the ball in your stick, but then that creates you getting opportunities for the ball to be in your stick. And at this point, Towson doesn't care who has the ball in their stick or who finishes because they all have the ability to. They just need finishes. And now it's a 1-goal game, which Towson knew they had the ability to do. They just need to stop playing catch up and continue that I would say that competitive vibe that we've gotten more so in the second half than we did in the first half, Tom.
Towson outscoring Drexel in this third quarter 4-1. It was 8-4 as we head into the locker room at halftime. So quite the difference here in the third quarter. We thought maybe the tide would change, and it certainly has. Towson's come out with a whole different energy here. I believe Hallie's brother Jack scored last night for Maryland in that win. So her brother plays for the Terps. Congratulations to the Maryland men for winning the Big Ten title. #1 team in the nation on the men's side. And Hallie, a hat trick here today in her championship game. That's pretty cool.
That's always a crazy weekend for a mother too. You know, Mother's Day, and then you have 2 kids on 2 different teams and 2 different championships. That, I mean, nod to them as well.
Moms are the best. Once
Moms
again,
are the
just
superheroes.
add it to the list of why. It's a long, long list. So 2:34 to go here in the third. 9-8 Dragons. Towson making a run at it. It's Delahaye and Cecil. Off the stick, Azizakovic. Harris, and it's Carson Harris. A draw control for Harris in the big spot. Her third of the day. She also has 3 ground balls and 2 goals on the day, but a good job by the Tigers, not letting it get to them. They get the ball back. Down 1. Paige Abbott.
Those are the connections we were feeling Drexel make easily early on, and now it almost feels like it flip-flopped. So Drexel's struggling a little bit to make those connections throughout the midfield, and Towson's doing a bit better.
10 turnovers for Drexel today. At times when they've struggled this season, turnovers have been an issue for them. They have 10 of them today. We talked about Towson and struggling to clear in the first half. They only have 6 turnovers as a whole. They've cleaned a lot of things up in the second half. Gabby Garrett surveying. She has Cecil on her. They work it out to Zizakovic. Zizakovic dodges. Here comes the help. She gets knocked down. So Zizakovic, I think they'll say that was inside the 8-meter. Yeah, she was just inside it, so she'll get an 8-meter for a chance to tie. Has 1 goal today. 5 for 12 thus far this year, and Bennett is there to stop it. 8th save of the day for Zoe Bennett.
Trapped easily by Zoe Bennett, making that 8-meter save look super easy, but we know it's not an easy shot coming from any of those Towson Tigers coming off the 8-meter in a 9-8 situation.
8 saves apiece for our goalies today. They've come to play. Drexel gets the ball. 1 minute to play. Possession clock off. Brady, quickness, goes low. And that will go the way of the Tigers. They have that backed up. Couldn't tell. I think that Merlot got her stick on that. But once again, there's a failed clear for Towson. So the ball goes right back to the Dragons.
Oh,
boy.
That is so tough to watch. You know, getting that opportunity of, okay, we have a stop, then we got the ball back, and then Towson turns it over. It's just such a back and forth. It's hard to watch. I mean, I know playing makes it feel a little bit better, but watching that's just tough.
We talked about missing Aaron Williams in the defensive end. Also, that plays a factor in the clearing game, too, and helping move the ball up the field. Schneidereth, good hands inside. There she is again. 4th for Lucy. Stops the Towson run to make it 10-8.
You said it best, even before she even finished that shot. You said good hands inside, and that's exactly it. If she's able to catch this ball, which is put slightly behind her or high, and then tuck it and control it for just a final snap of her wrist to get it around that goalie. I don't even know if you necessarily see the goalie in this position, because you have to catch and finish so quickly, where she's able to just bring that stick in front and just use all of her wrist mentality there to get it by.
The 4th time this year that she's had 4 goals. She did it against Albany, Delaware, and Dartmouth. She had 5 goals and an assist against William & Mary, but has she come to play today? She had a game last year when she had 8 goals too. So she can go off. She doesn't have to. That's the thing about her. She doesn't have to score the most, but when they need her to, there she is. Grady gets another assist, her 3rd of the game. 6.6 on the clock. Three on the clock. Zizakovic just tried to throw it towards the cage, and it goes innocently away. As that 3rd quarter, anything but innocent at that. Drexel with a 10-8 lead. We have 15 minutes to decide the CAA Women's Lacrosse Champion here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. "15 minutes for an NCAA tournament bid. Lucy Schneider, a graduate student with 4 goals for the Dragons, and it's a freshman for the Tigers, Hallie Corus, with 3 goals on their end of the equation. 10-8 is our score. Kelly Berger and Tom Eschen here with you on the call as the 4th quarter is set and ready to begin here at the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus on Lax Sports Network. A windy day in Philadelphia, a little sprinkle to start. It's been dry ever since. Perfect day for lacrosse on Mother's Day.
I always remember this game of, championship Sunday, and then, if you win, you get to go to selection show and find out kind of where it was one of the best days for college. Not to mention, Drexel's still in school, but for most of these colleges, they're done. You're just literally a professional lacrosse player at that point. So there's no classes to worry about. You're with your teammates. Campus is usually pretty quiet, and so it's a unique experience.
You get to celebrate if you win at the end, which always is one of the more memorable moments, not just as a college student, but in your life. Like these are things you look back on for years and years to come, especially when the game's as close as they are, like this one.
I think, you always get asked, what's your favorite lacrosse memory in a lot of interviews and all. And mine is still, out of all of the games I've played, is still the CAA championship game my freshman year of college. It's still one that sticks out.
Haley Simpson having herself a game as she just was like a shark in the water there, coming for that ground ball, completing the clear herself. Simpson with a couple of goals, a couple of ground balls here today. She gets the ball back for Drexel here, their first possession of the 4th quarter.
And I think what it's gonna come down to here, Tom, in the 4th quarter is who's going to be able to control the tempo of the game, control possession time, and stay sharp and value the ball. It is whatever team's going to come out on top.
Brady has a goal and 3 assists today, number 5. Here's Harris. She'll look to do some work trying to get herself free. The defense so cognizant of her. She does have a couple goals today. Works her way through, stopped by Merlot. Merlot's 9th save. Big, long rebound. And it's Towson that comes out with it. 50-50 balls going more in their direction here in the second half.
Yeah, and Carson needs to get rid of that ball a little bit sooner. Carried it just a little bit too long, but Towson was able to capitalize on that. But again, it's, you do one thing great, you can't then just neglect the next thing. And that's what Towson's struggling with right now. They get a great turnover, and then they don't take care of the ball. And this is all too often looking like what's happening in the 1st and 2nd quarter for them.
Maddie White making that play right here at the near side of your screen on the sideline. Sophomore from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. She had a mother, a father, and 2 cousins, all play sports at Drexel. So knows these confines quite well. Bednarik working on Malamphy. Break with Liucci on her, and Liucci a little too aggressive. Are they going to have Drake go here? She's going to be on that hash. Drake has a goal today. 42 on the possession clock. She'll come out of it. Over to Simpson. Grady. .30 on the clock for Bednarik. Bednarik, good dump off. Drake caught it. Smart play.
Very smart play. Again, best opportunity, not 50% opportunity.
Here's Simpson. Down the middle she goes, and Merlot deflects it. Rebound out to the Tigers. They get possession, and we'll take over. A defensive stand.
A defensive stand, and I still think Drexel should be happy with that offensive set. I mean, they wore time down, which time is on their side. They had solid possessions. Lots of people touched the ball. Lots of people got dodges in there. So even though it didn't result in a goal, I would be happy with that possession by Drexel.
The 4th time this season, Carly Merlot's had double-digit saves. That's her 10th save of the day. She took back the goalie role here against Georgetown on March 26th. She had sort of gone back and forth over the course of the season with Sarah Tyzowski. She took the role over then. She's had it ever since, after an outstanding sophomore season, that is, too. But she earned this role in this spot today, too. Look into the middle. Backhand just off for Paris. She'll track it down again. Bennett able to make that stop. And we have another player down. This is Belle McHugh. Stop play for the moment, and Towson will get possession. McHugh will get back up and get back in there again. Paris almost had the highlight of the day there.
I mean, take whatever you can get. I mean, it was definitely probably not what she wanted, but it worked out in their favor, and they got the ball back.
Off the pipe from Abbott. They'll actually credit Bennett with a save there. So Bennett up to double-digit saves now. How about a match for that? That's the 12th time this season she's had double digits in saves.
We aren't surprised.
Here's Paris looking to draw some contact. Bement gives it to her, but does it without fouling. Zizakovic, some space, and she scores. 10-9, another Tigers freshman in a big spot.
A massive one-on-one take here, and you can see that the defense is a little bit frantic, and Towson's able to capitalize. Not only frantic, but almost maybe a little tired too. Remember, these teams have been playing almost back-to-back now, a Friday game and a Sunday game. We're in the 4th quarter at this point. 1v1 is hard against a full-fledged 1v1 attacker coming at you, and it's when it is there, you have to make it count because you don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get, and that's exactly what Towson did.
Zizakovic has scored a goal in 8 straight games now. She's had 2 or more points than the last 6 she's played, and now her 2 goals combined with Chorus's 3. That's 5 for 2 freshmen in a title game. 5 of the 9 that Towson has today. Less than 10 minutes to play. That's some Towson
growth ahead. That's some Towson growth, some youth there that has Towson probably thinking good things for the future.
4th draw control for Harris. He had 4 in the Friday semifinal as well, had 4 against Towson the first time, so that's right along with what she's all about. She's set single season draw controls record and the career one in the CAA too, so she has all of that to her name already. Now she wants to add a title, as do the rest of these Dragons upperclassmen. Matt. Out to Simpson. Here's Grady. We'll roll with Bednarik. And the whistle blows. That's outside the 8-meter, so Simpson will get it on the fan. The stick breaks, so that's what happened there. The stick of Peyton Abbott broke on that check. So there you go. We just heard the nice interchange. That was actually a pretty healthy interchange, exchange between the two. Michael LaMonica and our official here today said there was no foul, the stick just broke, and that's what play has to stop, in lacrosse when something like that happens. So here we go.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
It's like I can't call it both ends because the stick hasn't broken on the other end. Simpson looking for a step, looking for an opening. Good defense by Sullivan. Another freshman, by the way, for the Tigers that has had a nice day today is Shannon Sullivan.
And I would say Towson is taking the mentality of stepping up when one of their top defenders has been hurt and not able to come back in, rather than letting that affect them in a negative light. And we said it could go two ways, and Towson is proving that they're going to pick the one way over the other.
And we got a response that time. They might have heard you, Kelly. The bench pretty happy with that shot clock violation. So Towson has some spirit to their step as they get possession, a chance to tie it here with 7:40 to play. They had it to 1 back there in the third. They have it to 1 again here in the fourth. Lindsey Clark takes a shot deflected by Harris in front. Caitlin Thornton was in the middle, and there's a foul on Drexel.
I actually think that maybe should have been a foul on Towson to start, because it looked like it almost hit somebody's body,
shot,
but unless it was deflected by a stick, which we can't always tell that so far away. But either way, Towson gets a huge opportunity here, center hash.
Thornton had her best game against Drexel the first time they played. Takes one step. Bennett gets her 11th save. Carson Harris comes out with the ground ball. She goes down pretty hard, and it'll be the Dragons' possession, dodging the bullet. And a failed clear for the Dragons. They haven't tried to go fast really at all today. There they do, and they pay for it.
And my question is why? Why does that pass need to happen right now, right? So as maybe Carson's flustered because she just got up from being hit, but you got to do the easy right there. And cross-field passes on your back foot is not what's easy, especially in a one-goal game championship, 6 minutes left. You need that possession.
And this is how sort of the end of the last game went. We talked about how Drexel in the first half got out to a lead against Towson. The game back on April 9th I'm talking about. And then Towson took a lead in that game. Drexel, of course, tied it up heading into overtime, and Towson ended up going on to win. This one following that script. We'll see how this one ends. Cecil picking it up, working the clear. Less than 6 minutes to play. Drexel dodges yet another bullet. And really, this is what they've done all day today here, Kelly. They've worked the clock a bit. They've tried to get some good shots off. Just in the second half, though, Towson's defense has stepped up, and that's why we've seen some more shot clock violations, as Drexel hasn't gotten as good of a look.
Right, and they haven't. I mean, I think the biggest thing is stopping the 1v1 and then making Drexel do something else. And that's what Towson's been able to really do, rather than foul or, make the easy 1v1 happen. They've been able to stop that 1v1 and make Drexel have to move the ball.
Drake works her way on the inside. There's the back check by Sullivan. A good one at that. She causes the turnover. Here comes the Tigers the other way. 5 minutes to play. They trail by 1. Peyton Abbott, the feed inside to Garrett. Abbott goes down hard. We play on. I think maybe Sonia LaMonica called a timeout amidst the chaos. A look into the huddle of the CAA Coach of the Year, Sonia LaMonica, helped this program to a three-peat in 2012, 13, and 14. They last won it in 2016, trying to restore that prominence for this program here in 2022. They've won 5 straight heading into this game, by the way, one of the hottest teams in the country A streak that started with an overtime win over these Drexel Dragons. So the synergy is real here. A 10-9 advantage for the Dragons today. 4:55 to go. Tigers with the ball. It'll start in the stick of Carrie Thornton. Trying to isolate with her. She finds herself a step. Here comes the help from McHugh. Liucci, hands free. Bennett, another save. 13 saves for Zoe Bennett.
A really good shot there, and then also a really good save. I can't say that Bennett was ready for that shot, but sometimes reaction is better than anything, and you use your body to save the ball, right? She couldn't get her stick down there, but I mean, her feet could get there, so why not make it happen? That's a good goalie for you.
Her save percentage has gone up each and every year that she's been in college, which for goalies, it's very tough to be consistent, and to get better while doing it, I think is really impressive. You're curious, 40 to 44, 45, 46, this year almost at 50.
And you saw there was a little shove on the sideline there, and some of those coaches wanted a foul or wanted a card. And I'm okay with them not giving a card at this point for that type of foul this late in the game, because it's one of those things where just play it safe. You can see that they're both playing hard. Nobody's head is in a challenge right now. So I'm okay with that. But, you know, play it fair, play it clean.
Turnover for the Dragons. Trying to find Carson Harris there was Colleen Grady. So Towson gets the ball, Merlot, and now here's the clear. 14 for 18 on the clear today for the Tigers. They have struggled in this facet. Nicole Liucci through the middle. Drake on her. Liucci gets rid of it and into the offensive end with Garrett. Less than 3 minutes to go. Doesn't get much better than this, does it, Kelly? You're playing for a title.
A big 3 minutes right here. And, I mean, I think we thought this was how the game was going to go. Maybe in the first and second quarter, we were wondering if it was going to change what our thoughts were. But I think you and I both said it could be anybody's game in this one.
And Kelly, I'm just realizing this now. Drexel hasn't scored in this quarter. There's only been one goal scored, and that was Towson. It was 10-8 heading into the fourth. And now a foul inside the 8-meter arc. Carrie Liucci, the hero from a month ago. Liucci, one step, another stop for Bennett. The rebound, up and in. Carrie Thornton ties it at 10.
And those are those heads-up plays. And there's certain players that are really good at those heads-up plays. We call those a little bit of the garbage goals. But, you know, Liucci, she has a really good outside shot here. Maybe not as powerful as she wishes, but that didn't stop Carrie Thornton getting in there and getting that scrappy ball. In whatever way she can get the ball, she has to try and get the ball. Even though they might be face guarding her in other positions, she has to be involved in other such particular situations.
I mean, she hadn't seen really a face guard until midway through this season, and obviously she's earned them with her play, and she gets the rebound, picks up the trash, the senior from Long Island, and gets the job done. 2:31 to go. It's tied at 10. 41st goal of the year for the first team All-CAA player. 16-7, Drexel leads in the draw control circle today. All Towson wants to go is 1 for 1 here. Goes the way of the Tigers. Which way does the whistle go? It goes the way of the Dragons. Harris falls there on the turf. They'll call a push. Looked like the cleat gave out or something. Hopefully everybody's okay. Less than 2 minutes to go. Drexel with possession. The last 2 times the teams have played have gone into overtime, and maybe that's exactly what the Dragons coaching staff want to talk about here, as there's 1:54 to go here, Kelly. And for these two programs, I mean, this is such a momentous occasion. Towson, as I mentioned, trying to get back to that promised land that they've been unable to get to the last few seasons. And the Dragons, they had so many firsts last year. This season taking a bit of a dip, not getting as much success as they had seen. But they're back here again, an opportunity to put a cap on a really nice legacy for this group.
Yeah, and you know both programs, that's what they talk about. That's what we spoke to both of these programs early on in the seasons, and their goal was to win a CAA championship. So we know that's the mentality that they have from the first start of the season. And so, it's heartbreaking to have to only have one, but we know at the start of the season there's only going to be one, and best team will win.
The best team will win, and these two have brought their best in each of their matchups the last couple times. And don't forget what happened in the semifinals between these two last year. That controversial finish, the 15-14 win for Drexel over the Tigers. And you could say that overtime, the way it started was so weird because Towson immediately was charged for a green card, and Drexel started with the ball and then a yellow card on top of that. So basically Drexel just had to go in and score, and they got a free position on top of all that. It's exactly what they did, earning their spot in the final. Retribution for Towson in the meeting this year in overtime, but this would really be something for the Tigers that sort of cast out those demons a year later in the CAA tournament. So 1:54 to go. The Dragons are going to have possession. Schneiderith has those 4 goals today, 2 for Simpson, 2 for Carson Harris, Grady a goal and 3 assists. This is where the experience we talked about at the very top of the broadcast comes to a head.
And you wonder, do you hold this ball, let the shot clock wear down a little bit, so if it doesn't work in your favor, you don't get too much time back to Towson to go down and take a chance, or do you go and maybe get that second opportunity again? It's one of those things you have to decide and buy in on.
Drake's defender falls, and that was not a pretty fall. They're going to have to blow a whistle here once again. Don't forget, Aaron Williams hurt in the first half for the Tigers, and they've dealt with injuries all year long. Reina Del Tuva, Lindsay Marshall, 2 players that mean so much for them. And now they lose Aaron Williams in this game, and that did not look good, as you saw Drake get an opportunity here. And that just happened to be on that turf. We've seen the turf catch some feet here and over the last few minutes, and once again happening here again.
I feel like there's a little bit of laughter, and maybe it's a little bit of a cramp that looks like they're rubbing out. I can only hope and pray for that for this athlete, because it's just the worst.
Shannon Sullivan, the freshman, even speaking her praises all game long. See her walking off on her own power as well. 2 caused turnovers today. She also has a draw control along with the ground ball. Now she's got a big smile on her face, so hopefully it is just that, Kelly.
It's good to see.
You don't hydrate as much.
Never want a player hurt.
They always would tell you that when it's cold, you have to drink more water than you think, because you're not going to feel as thirsty. So maybe that also, I don't want to speculate, but like you said, if that's the case, hopefully she'll get some water and get back out there. Good to see her okay. So 1:10 to go here. Drexel just with 17 on the clock, so hopefully they figure something out while they had a couple seconds to do so. Ball in the stick of Harris. Harris looking for some space. White defenders interface. And a whistle blows here from our right side. We got a hold. Harris on the 8-meter, an opportunity to take the lead. 2 goals today. Proficient at the free position. Away she goes, in for the score, and she's stopped by Merlot. Merlot met her high, getting her 11th save of the day. Brady wins the battle. Towson defense is going to have to step up again. Now missing 2 starters.
Great 1v1 defense.
Simpson, she gets pushed. Less than 20 to go in the CAA Women's Championship. Grady into the middle. Simpson shot deflected away by Liucci. Free ball in the critical scoring area. Single seconds on the clock. Clock will roll with that whistle. And the final seconds will tick off. And for the 3rd time within 12 months, we go to overtime with Drexel and Towson again. Next goal clinches a shot and a spot in the NCAA tournament. Back live at Vitus Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was 5-3 Drexel after 1, 8-4 after 2, 10-8 after 3, 10-10 after 4. That's right, Towson held Drexel off the scoreboard the entire 4th quarter. More accolades for that defense as we get set and ready to go here for the overtime period at the CAA Women's Lacrosse Championship presented by Primus on Lax Sports Network. And we had 2 really fun semifinals on Friday night. The championship has been just as much fun here on Sunday, on Mother's Day of all days. And the mothers out there, appreciate that for you, those of you who are joining us, for everything you do. Hopefully you've enjoyed this lacrosse today here as well. Ready to go, Kelly? We got an overtime period. Next goal wins.
Why not? A little extra lacrosse? We'll take it.
We will. Wind is howling here in Philly. That coastal storm just won't go away. At least the rain has for now. And a key draw control to start. Everybody got on the field at the correct time, so we will get one to begin this overtime. 17-7, Drexel leads this category today. Blair Goodrich in there against Cecil. Cecil throws it up, chases it down, tries to grab it herself. Now a fight, biggest ground ball of the day. Who will come out with it? And it goes the way of the Dragons.
Oh.
And they're gonna call a green card here. That ball was tossed away too far. And now Drexel will go a woman up. Blair Goodrich has to go sit for a minute. That's a procedural penalty. It's a minute-long penalty at that for a green card. Eerily similar, Kelly, to that semifinal last year.
I don't have many words because of that, but a rule's a rule, and I understand. But you also have to take into account some emotion, and we'll just leave it at that. Let's see what happens.
All right, can Towson get another big stop? They did it at the end of regulation. They did it the entire 4th quarter. They're gonna have to do it again here. Simpson works it out to Grady. Grady into the middle. Wide open is Drake, and Drake wins the title. The Drexel Dragons, for the first time in program history, are the CAA champions. What a journey for this senior class. These graduate students who have lost 20 games before. They've now risen to the top of the CAA.
Pretty remarkable, and always just an amazing feeling at the end of a long season, just feeling like all your hard work pays off, and it's just one of those feelings that you cannot replace. And I know for this veteran team, they've been waiting for a long time to feel this feeling, so congratulations to them.
What a moment for the junior from Easton, Pennsylvania, Allison Drake, who on that women up situation just found herself wide open, and none other than Colleen Grady. Just a picture-perfect feed, Kelly, to win it all and win this championship. So many firsts last year for Drexel. This was the first they didn't have, and now this group gets it. Everybody that came back, they get it here in 2022. You can see the emotions in the sidelines. They get their free shirts.
It's definitely a shirt that you have forever. I still have mine from freshman year, and since I was a freshman, I got the extra large, the last pick, and so it's just starting to fit me now, so that's good.
I was in a text exchange with some of my friends from college, and they were talking about now they give away rings and all, like teams make rings, and I'm like, you know what? The shirt's what it's all about, and as our moments like this at home, the celebration here at Vitus Field.
And more importantly, not only winning the CAAs, but this team gets to go to the NCAA. They get to take another bus trip, which that's what they said they wanted, right? And it'll be really cool for them to experience that.
Last year was the first time they'd ever even been in an NCAA tournament. They get to go back again this year. They played Rutgers pretty tough in that game last year, by the way. 16-13 was the final there. And this crew, we talked to Carson Harris before the season started, and like, so how did it all work with you guys coming back? Was it text? He goes, yeah, we had a text exchange. Said, you coming? And Harris, Lucy Schneiderith, Zoe Bennett, some of those graduates that have made their way back into the fold, rewarded accordingly with a championship, a hard-earned one at that. For this band of misfits, that's sort of what they've taken on, and they've come together for a reason, and this is why. And as for the Towson Tigers, I don't think that any team played harder in the second half than they could have to grit their way back into this game. You know, you talked about it, Kelly. It seemed at one point like they weren't really into it, and felt like Drexel could have definitely extended their lead. But the Tigers able to come back all the way in the fourth quarter, hold the Dragons off the board, and tie it heading into overtime. I mean, they should be applauded for their performance today, too.
We always know that when you have those first halves that are like that, whether you're a player or you're a coach, it feels as if the team's a little bit in a fog, and you just don't know. Are they going to come out of it? And, you know, it's tough to sometimes just find how can I pull them out of it? And Towson pulled themselves out of it, and they well-fought team that, you know, has so much heart, and you know, I applaud them for a great season.
And a bright future. We talked about it. Haley Chorus, 3 goals today. Milana Zizakovic, 2 goals. A couple freshmen. Shannon Sullivan played so well in the defensive end. So they've got a really bright future. And Blair Paris, still just a junior. See what Carrie Thornton does next year. She's a senior. But the spoils go to the Dragons here today, as all of those upperclassmen rewarded here. As we'll get one more look at this final goal, Kelly.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of a miscommunication here, you know. They were marked up behind goal. They almost forgot that they were women down, and there was just a little sneak in there by Drake, and she was able to hold her composure, catch, and finish, and it's almost like Drexel was thinking that's too good to be true.
Maybe some of those personnel losses finally came back to haunt the Tigers a little bit on the woman down defense, as Aaron Williams hurt with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Then you saw Shannon Sullivan have to limp off. And then also, in addition to that, you had Blair Goodrich having to get taken off the field. And we have to mention it, that green card that allowed Drexel to be a woman up there in the final moments. So those are 3 of your starters that aren't there for that, and that's, of course, how that can happen. Trophy is getting ready. We'll see the celebration here in a moment. The shirts are on. Those are pretty cool shirts.
They always get better every year, right? Like, mine is just a cotton oversized, but I still have it, so it means something. It doesn't even, no matter what it says on it, it's like a little bit of pride that you worked so hard for just a t-shirt. I'm here for it.
You get those cool stickers or whatever those things might be. Get to show those off. Probably put those in some offices there at Drexel. Lucy Schneiderith, the graduate, 4 goals today. You had Grady, 1 goal with 4 assists, including the game-winning assist, and we'll see who they decide to give the MOP here to, Kelly. I'd be intrigued to see who is the winner of this, I guess. Zoe Bennett had 14 saves today as well. She made some big ones.
You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, as much as we focus on the goal scoring, we can't lose focus on the goal staying out of Drexel's net. And Zoe Bennett was just, she made saves when she wasn't expected to, and kept her team in the game when maybe Drexel was flustered there for a while, in that they didn't have their best third and fourth quarter. Thankfully, they had a great first and second, but Bennett never faded. She always had a good quarter, so.
Both teams will wait for these final awards here. The all-tournament team will be announced too. Of course, they're playing DJ Khaled because that is now a standard in any. I've done championship games all around the world at this point, and wherever it might be, they always play this song.
Well,
what happened to Queen? We are the champions.
I know. I know. That still is the best one, in my opinion. But again, maybe we're old. I don't know.
Waiting here, we'll see the trophy presentation in just a moment. Big thank you to everybody that worked with us here over the course of the CAA season, especially from our perspective on the women's side, all the SIDs who organized the interviews and the calls, and the coaches who spent their time talking to us about their team. It really helps enhance our broadcast. It helps us do our best for the kids and everybody in the schools and everybody watching. So really appreciative of everybody working together to create the best product we can for you all season long. So definitely that's all very much appreciated.
Some of the best coaches in the CAA, always easy to have conversations with them, and they're always willing to talk to us and trust us with what they want to tell us. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's a really good group, and we recognize that it's not always that way.
Ladies and gentlemen, the CAA would like to thank the fans that have come out this afternoon to show their support for women's lacrosse.
Great crowd today as well. Cal, you mentioned this at Vitus Field today. Really good amount of fans here to watch their own team win it, right?
Yeah, and it's a good little stadium they have there at Drexel as well. So those stands being full, and I'm sure it's, really loud and really exciting to play in front of a crowd like that on Championship Sunday.
Towson finishing the season at 9-8. Like I said, by all the projections, doesn't appear they'll get a chance at an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament, so their season most likely ending right here. Did their best towards the end of the season, winning those 5 in a row up until today. The all-tournament team announced here as we speak.
Number 32, Shannon Boyle.
All the Hofstra players, Shannon Boyle.
From Delaware, number 7, Sydney Rosa.
Rosa had a big day for Delaware.
From Delaware, number 24, Danielle Liberty. From Towson, number 13, Ware Marie.
3 with a goal today, 4 ground balls and a draw. Again, Drexel did a pretty good job on such a dynamic player. In the semifinal, 5 goals and assists, 4 draw controls, and a ground ball. She'll be back.
From Towson, number 17, Carly Merlo.
And Carly Merlo, who we talked about, made that save on Carson Harris. Harris had a chance. She had the ball in her stick in the final minute of regulation to win it. Merlo made the stop. 11 saves today, 8 on Friday.
From Towson, number 27, Olivia
Melamphy, defensively so dynamic. 5 ground balls today, 2 caused turnovers, a draw control as well, and helping to help stem the tide with some of those injuries the Tigers had.
From Drexel, number 10, Zoe Bennett.
Joey Bennett, the goalie, 14 saves today. She had 5 on Friday, but 14 when it counted the most. Graduate from Pasadena, Maryland. Haley Simpson getting her recognition. She was a big part of this offense the last couple days. She had another 2 goals today, also chipping in 3 ground balls. She had a goal and an assist on Friday. And the game winner, as the wind continues to howl here in Philly, Allison Drake. The game winner today, her 2nd goal of the day. She had 2 goals on Friday night too.
I'm going to vote her for the best last name also. It just sounds awesome to call Drake when she's playing. It rolls off the tongue nicely.
And it's Lucy Schneidereth, the most outstanding player of the 2022 CAA Women's Lacrosse Tournament. One of those Schneidereth quadruplets getting her due. The 4 big goals today, just there when you need her. She had 2 goals on Friday as well. You can see she's taking aback of it, isn't she? A hug with her sister, now a volunteer assistant with the program, Jamie. Her other sisters, Maggie and Georgia, all playing collegiately as well, all at the same time. And now the championship trophy going to the Dragons.
Tight follow to them.
Yeah, because they're going to do the whole slow, low, high thing.
I think Carson Harris wanted to take that trophy from Joey D and run around with it.
Give it to me. We've been waiting.
And there you go. The Drexel Dragons, your 2022 CAA Women's Lacrosse champs.
Women's Lacrosse champions. Fans, please be sure to watch the NCAA Division I Women's Lacrosse Selection Show on ESPN tonight, Sunday, beginning at 9 p.m.
So as you hear on the overhead speaker, we'll find out who they will play in the upcoming NCAA tournament, the selection show later on tonight, and we'll see what kind of matchup they get in the first round. I wouldn't want to play Drexel, I'm telling you right now. I know there were some games they dropped this year, but I wouldn't want to play them. They're pretty good. You know, they're a very experienced team too.
Yeah, and they come out ready to play every game. You know, they have so much energy, and we saw that right from the first whistle. So they're not scared of anyone. So I'm with you. I don't know if I'd want to play them first either.
Yeah, they played a really tough schedule this year, but this feeling will last a lifetime for everybody there that's within that picture and outside of it as well. We know there's a lot of people watching that are invested into this program, that are cheering right along with their squad here today. Well, once again, a big thank you to everybody that contributed to these broadcasts as the year went on. For the rest of our team, Kelly Berger, Dylan Hand, Thomas McNeely, they're behind the glass. I am Tom Eschen. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for a great season, everybody. Drexel will celebrate. They're the CAA champions.